Hi, I'm Larry Puckett. As I said in the last video, today we're going to take a look at a number of different factors that affect how well static grasses look after you apply them. And what we're going to do is test out different ways to go about applying static grass to get the best results. So let's go ahead and roll the intro and then we'll get started. Hit that little red subscribe button, and when the little bell comes up, click on it and click all. Okay, so I've got a setup here so that we can do some testing. I've got the basing glue from WW Scenics. I've got some Mod Podge that I have thinned a bit, so we'll try using that. And we'll also try several different ways of using the grounding clip that comes attached to all of these static grass applicators to see how that affects how well your grass stands up after it's fallen onto your model railroad. The first thing I want to do is show you how to use the deballer. So for that, I'm going to go ahead and bring you guys in here closer. So this is the deballer that they sell, comes as part of their system, and you can buy it separately. And I've got some of their 4mm patchy grass. And you know, it's in that 4mm size that's going to ball up a bit. So we'll take some of these balls of it and drop it in here. Let's get that out like that. And I'm going to do quite a bit of it here because I'm going to use it. Okay, so we got it there. And so you can see those balls in here. Now all you have to do to break these up is just go like this. And you can see it's all gone in just a few seconds. So it doesn't have to be a scrubbing type of effect. All you have to do is shake the basket and it will fall right apart. So there you go. Nice. And let me put that into a cup. So now we have a cup of patchy grass to work with for this demonstration. So let me pull over what else I've got. Okay, so the first thing I want to do is test the 3 different ways of using the grounding clip that's provided with the applicator. And what we're going to do is we're going to try it with it held close to the bottom of the applicator. And then we're going to try one with it held about halfway between the bottom of the applicator and the surface of the layout. And then we'll give it a try with one of these T-pins stuck into the surface and the plug attached to it. So the first thing we're going to do then is having it close to the surface. And for that, I'm going to put it inside this, in this box top so that I can confine the static grass as much as possible so that I don't lose it. And I'll apply some of the basing glue here to the surface. And got my little paintbrush, and we'll apply it all over here. Okay, that should do. And I've already got my static grass ready to go, so let's turn it on. And this is going to be close to the applicator screen. Okay, turn that off. There, we still got plenty to work with. I'm going to go ahead and tap it so that we can shake any stuff that hasn't adhered to the glue. And I'll give you a look. This is what it looked like after the application. Standing up pretty darn straight. And remember, this is 4mm static grass. Okay, so let's try the medium location for the grounding clip. So let me get some glue applied again and get it spread out here. There we go. Because this grounding clip cord is so long, I just took a rubber band and gathered up quite a bit of it, about half of it at least, and put the rubber band over it so it stays up here. And that way you're not fighting with the cord all the time. Okay, let me give this a try here. Turn it on, and we'll go about halfway between the basket of the applicator and the surface. And I'm trying to stay close to the surface, so that's one thing I am doing. But you can see I'm not right up underneath of it there. Okay, there we go. Let's see how that did. I'm going to flip it over again and knock all the loose stuff off. And we'll see how we did. I'll let you look. You can see it did a pretty good job, I think. About the same between the two. But then I was holding the basket very close to the work surface. So that might have been part of the reason. Okay, for the final test, I'm going to apply the glue here, like so. And we'll get it spread out. Now I think this is the method most of you are used to seeing. I'm going to take my T-pin and we're going to jab it right here into the surface, like so. And I'm going to attach the grounding clip to it, and hopefully it won't pull out. And then, actually I'm going to move it here and see if that works, because I've seen this done different ways. So let's see. There we go. And I'm going to hold it at this point so that it doesn't get pulled out. Let's give it a shot. Okay, I think I'm just about out there. And we'll pull the clip loose. And I'm going to flip it over and tap all the loose stuff off. Okay. And then we'll take a look. Well, I personally don't see a lot of difference here, to be honest with you. But then you might get different results if you're working on a much larger area that you're applying static grass to. So it seems like that we got very good coverage in all of the methods. Everything, as far as I can tell, is standing bolt upright. So there doesn't seem to be a lot of difference depending on how you're applying it. But at least keep that in mind while you're doing this. If you start noticing that some of your static grass is not standing up as well as it should, you might try going closer with the actual clip and the grounding clip and see if it's going to improve the results as you move along. Okay. Let's move on to another test then. Okay, so for this next one, several people questioned why they have to use the basing glue. Why not use something like Mod Podge that's been thinned with some water? So I make this scenic cement using 1 part Mod Podge and 3 parts water. And put it in here, give it a good shake. So we'll apply this first to this surface, and then we'll use the WW Scenics basing glue on this side and see how well they work. Let's see if I can get it on here without making a big, oh, that came out pretty well. Okay. So this is about the consistency of milk. It's a little bit thinner than the basing glue, but because of all that water, it's soaking into the surface fairly quickly. So I'm going to give this a test using the medium application height. Okay, so flip it on, and here we go. One thing to think about when you're filling up your applicator basket with your static grass, do not overfill it. And the reason for that is if you've got a lot of static grass in here, then it's not going to be able to effectively charge the particles. So you only want to fill it about half full at most. Okay, let me, that takes care of that one. And we'll shake off the excess like that. And looks like it's doing pretty good there. Show you. Looks like all the others. The one disadvantage I see is that with all of that very watery glue, it's not standing up quite as well. And I don't know why that is. It might be that it does not have enough thickness to hold it. Beats me. That's just speculation. So the static grass is not standing up, and it might work better with, undiluted Mod Podge. I just didn't want to use mine because it's been around here for several years and may have thickened up over time as a result of some evaporation. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and put the basing glue over here, and we'll give a side-by-side comparison there. Of course, we've seen this over earlier. Now, and let me spread it. So you can see this is a little bit thicker than the Mod Podge that I used. And because it doesn't have all that water in it, it is not soaking into the surface. Okay, let's give this a try. On, and we will apply it. Still got more in there. And it's sticking to my hands left and right, of course. I became part of the work surface there. Okay, so let's see how that came out. Bring it and tap it. Okay, so this one is the one I just applied using the basing glue. This is the one I applied using the Mod Podge. I do like their basing glue better. Everything, it tends to stand up straighter, and I don't know. I tell you what, let me try one more time. I'm going to apply straight, undiluted Mod Podge on one of these, and we'll give that a try. Just a second. Okay, so here I've got my jug of Mod Podge. So I'm going to give it a good stir, shake. Okay, I'm going to just splash some right here on the work surface. There we go. Boy, that's more than I wanted, but it'll do. Okay, let's spread it out a bit now. Okay, there we go. Turn it on, and away we go. Okay, there. Now let me get it up, and we'll flip it over. Give it a tap. Knock the loose stuff off. It didn't stick quite as well. You can see there's some thin spots in here in the static grass. Let me see if it isn't standing up quite as straight as it was on the others either. Hold that up for you to look at. So I think even the diluted Mod Podge worked better than the straight undiluted Mod Podge. So, and I would expect that to be pretty much the same if you wanted to use, say, Elmer's glue. But you can see it's pretty thin. It's thinning out. So my recommendation, if you're going to plan on just using Mod Podge, then I would dilute it, probably 50-50 at least with some water, or experiment some with it and find what the best mix is. Because this pure Mod Podge, it just doesn't work quite as well as the basing glue or the diluted Mod Podge that I used. So right here we looked at holding the grounding clip close to the bottom of the applicator. This one was about halfway between the bottom of the applicator and the surface that we were applying static grass to. And this was with the grounding clip attached to the surface of the layout. I think that probably in this case, it looks like the medium location looks pretty good. But you got to keep that moved around as you're applying the static grass. Now this one here, it's had time to sit here a minute. So again, this was the one where I used the diluted Mod Podge. This was the basing glue. And I think that it seems to be standing up better with the basing glue, but it's a hard call. It's very close with the diluted Mod Podge. I'll let you take a look at that and see what you think about that. It looks a bit darker, mainly because the water has soaked into the cardboard and it looks darker as a result. So I think that's the only reason it looks darker. And it will probably fade as it dries out, the water evaporates. So pretty good coverage in all cases, I think you'll see. Well, that's a wrap for today. I'm sure that you guys can think of all kinds of other different tests that you'd like to see me do, but I'm going to run out of time and static grass to do it with. So at some point, give it a try yourself, see what you like, and see what types of static grass you like, and I think you'll be able to answer your questions better than mine. Okay, now as far as next week, I heard from Walthers. They got the roadbed in and they got number 5 turnouts in. So they're going to be shipping me a number 5 turnout and also the roadbed. So hopefully by next week we'll be able to make that video showing how to use the new Walthers roadbed and apply it, using it with turnouts, using it with FlexTrack, all kinds of different application methods, and we'll give it a good test. So until then, have a great weekend, have a great week, and I'll see you here next Friday with another video. Bye now.